Well, hello everyone. It's Ferocia here, and I'm sitting with the beautiful Barbara Patterson Cerullo, who's a whole person life coach and Enneagram practitioner. And I'm really excited to share her with you because she's one of those people that at a significant time in her life stepped into her power and her purpose and is now here to help others in a very similar way on a similar journey. And I know you've been coaching for about a year and a half now, working with a lot of different people. And I'd love to just kind of start with, when you came into coaching, what was that calling? I know you love to help people, but I'd love to hear the understory. What brought you here?
Well, first of all, thank you so much, Ferocia, for having me on this interview. I feel very honored that you've asked me. I appreciate it. So I was about 62 years old and decided I wanted to go back and finish my college degree. So I did. I finished. I graduated magna cum laude at my, with my degree in counseling. And people asked if I wanted to go on and get my master's and have a practice. And I said, I really don't want to invest that more time in that. So I started researching coaching schools and I wanted certification. And I knew that that wasn't really something that happened as far as, regulated by the government kind of thing. So I found ICF, International Coaching Federation, and I went there, put in the information, and your school popped up with about 5 others. So I researched all of them and decided I felt a real kindred spirit with your style and the way you taught, your philosophy and all that. And I just came into alignment with that. But I really had to step out in courage to do it because I came from a very rigid evangelical religious background. And women were taught to be submissive and obedient. And it wasn't always an outright thing, but it was very expected. And it was the culture and it was just the way it was. And I had, supported my husband. I've been married for 48 years this year. At the time, it was about 42 years. And, he was like, wait a minute, what are you doing now? I mean, I thought we were heading into our golden years of retirement and all that. And I said, no, I just feel like I'm ready to get going at this point in my life. And so, I looked around and so many women my age seemed to just have settled into their life, stopped learning, stopped growing, lost their passion, their zeal for life, knowledge, understanding, community. And I decided, I'm not going to do that. And so that was really sort of the ignition for me to reach out and start my coaching.
I so love that you shared that. And I'm feeling myself get a lot of excitement because, I'm a little bit behind you, but not much. And I feel like the same thing. It's like, it's time to roar, you know?
Oh my gosh, Verosha, that's so funny because I was thinking about writing a book entitling It's Time for the Women to Roar.
Are you kidding me? That's awesome.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Um,
Oh, the synchronicities. Well, maybe you're onto something.
Maybe.
And with that in mind, when I think about, the people that you touch and you work with, my experience of you is you've got a style that really kind of gets to the heart of the whole person and really working with kind of the things that are underneath. Can you talk to me a little bit about, obviously in a confidential way, what people come to you for? And yeah.
Well, being in this evangelical world, my husband and I actually, my husband is the president of a national television network. And co-hosted a television show for 12 years. And so we were in ministry, if you will. So I've been in ministry my whole life and I love people. I just am drawn to understand what is the motivation behind people's behaviors. Why do they do what they do? Because I find in relationships are sticky and can be very messy. And so I see, social media now, there's so much reaction all the time with people back and forth. And I always want to say, wait a minute, step back, listen to the person's heart and try to understand why they're saying what they say. Because, it just changes the dynamic in the relationship. And it seems that when I coach people after the fact, I always ask for feedback and what they enjoyed, what they would change. And every time, this sounds like I'm bragging and I don't like to do that, but everybody says, I was nervous to coach with Barbara. I coach through our company. And so I'm the boss's wife because Barbara's the boss's wife. And I don't want to lose my job if I share something personal. But what I found was she provides a safe place for me to share. And I trust her. I trust that she will remain confidential with what I share with her. And I do. And I feel humbled that they are willing to trust me with some of the information they share with me. And it is deep. And a lot of it is hurt, pain, being misunderstood, having a real desire to break free from a lot of just ideologies and limiting beliefs that are placed upon them over their lifetime. And they've never even given themselves permission to question the things they've been brought up to believe in, or to say, wait a minute, I do have my own opinions about things, and it may differ from what I've been taught my whole life. So a lot of it that's a lot of what I deal with.
Yeah. Well, what I'm hearing underneath it is really helping people to get in touch what's true for them. Yeah. And maybe
Yeah.
live a little bit more authentically, and just really wanting to honor that you're doing this, partially within the construct of a company where you are married to the owner. He's the owner.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm like, I heard that correctly. So there's
Yes.
a lot of confidentiality, a lot of protectedness. You hold a really sacred space for these people to come and work through whatever they're trying to move towards. And, they're trusting you as that person. Yeah.
Yes.
So what I'm hearing is there's a lot of trust in the company because you are the wife of the owner, but you're also, I think you said, the executive vice president of organizational development, the group, and you're coaching them and they're bringing you topics where they really want to break free, kind of come to their own true calling and become their more authentic version. Am I kind of understanding that correctly?
Yes, you are. And just as a little caveat here, in my position, the EVP of OD, I've fought really hard to bring on a director of OD under me who actually has his degree in organizational leadership. And we're developing a new onboarding process and a university within our company to bring in, education for all the staff to have opportunity to grow and learn and have advancement. And that has not been a part of our company. And I told my husband, I said, this is my legacy. I'm the staff advocate. And as I have gone through this journey in the last few years, gotten my degree, finished my certification in coaching, and I am starting my website and this women's community and all this stuff. My husband really doesn't quite know what to do with me because I have stepped into my truth. I'm speaking my truth, always kind and respectful, but I am definitely saying to him, it's not business as usual. This is who I am. And I care about all of we have over 300 employees. And so, there has been some fear culture in the past, and we're breaking that down. And so the staff also see me in that role. And so that builds on their trust to be able to come and risk coaching with the boss's wife.
Mm. Well, what I hear is you're really modeling the way of being that you're hoping your clients can find for their own selves. You're also showing it versus talking about it because you're being that person in the company, and it sounds like you're spearheading a whole movement to really develop the staff so that they can become better people, maybe not better people, but better employees, more effective and advance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
How does that feel? I'm just curious.
It's incredibly empowering.
Yeah.
When I look back and I think where I was just 10 years ago or 5 years ago and where I am today, oh my gosh, I've come so far. And so, and the women, mostly I do coach women. I'm going into another 6-week session, and about 6 guys have jumped on board and said they want me to coach them. So word is spreading within the company that I'm a trustworthy source, I guess. And I love it. I mean, I love coaching whoever comes my way. I think underlying everything is this desire to help bring true freedom to people that have felt limited by the culture they've been a part of.
Hmm. Well, and if I may, I think when you speak to the word culture, it's workplace, spiritual, home life. And
Yes.
yeah, beautiful work that you do. I would love to ask you, what is your motto? Like, what is,
Oh, motto. Oh my gosh.
ah,
Oh my
surprise.
goodness. Well, you know what? Actually, I went to a women's retreat about 10 years ago, and this was before. I need to, and it was the purpose, the goal, end in mind at this retreat was to define our own personal mission statement. At the time, it was couched in my religious. It was, oh my goodness, like it's not empowering. I can't remember now. Something women to connect, compelling women to connect with the love of God through worship, beauty, and celebration. Now, I actually still love a lot of that. And I could segue it into my new place in life because I definitely believe in a divine higher power. I have actually done a lot of study on the feminine side of the divine, which has been incredibly enlightening, and I love that. But I do love beauty, and I do love to celebrate, and so all of those. I need to go back and sort of make my own personal motto. I don't think I have one.
Yeah. Well, what I'm hearing is much like everything you've talked about so far is you're evolving,
Yeah.
you're stepping further and further into like your whole self.
Yes, I believe I am. Yeah, and I've surrounded myself with a very intimate support group of women that have been on the similar journeys, and so uh, we're actually. If another caveat, I went back to Tulsa, Oklahoma, which is where I was born and raised. And it's a long story, but I won't tell you all of it now. I bought my childhood home, which has always been a dream. I renovated it, and I'm going to have intimate women's retreats there, 3 or 4 women at a time for 2 or 3 days, where I can do one-on-one coaching. We can tell our stories with no judgment or fear or shame. We can dance by the light of the silvery moon if we want to. I'm going to incorporate some ceremony because I believe in ceremony. And I'm really looking forward to that. That's just one little thing I'm going to be doing as an aside. But I just find that if I had that, if I had a woman who saw my struggle
Yeah.
back in the day and took me aside, and gave me a safe place to talk, I think I would have been able to, be sort of reborn earlier. Now, I don't want to discount my journey because I know that I am who I am today because of it. But there are moments of regret where I wish I could go back and redo some things because I'm 68 years old now and I feel great. I'm in wonderful health and I'm grateful for that. But I'm not 48 anymore. And there is a distinction there. And so um, it's all a part of who I am. And it's really a part of the story when I share with women, they are deeply touched. And the ones that are younger say, I want to pay attention to this because, you are me 20 years from now. And I want to be, and I say, listen, you're already ahead of me because you're here with me right now, you know. So I probably got a little off track there.
I don't think so.
Okay.
What I heard was passion, and I just really wanted to say, like, as you were talking about that, I mean, I feel very similar that, had I had somebody like a coach or, someone that could really let me talk, help me to figure things out for myself, I would have made certainly different decisions. And, similar, like our paths make us who we are, but it's like, who wouldn't want to like in a little bit of acceleration towards the right way versus all the ways?
True. Oh, yes, so true.
Yeah, and I also just recognize like, you're putting on this really large project at work, you're changing a 300-person company, and you're going to offer retreats that's on the books. I'm really hearing that you're fully activated and moving forward on what you want to do. And I have one last question. If someone wanted to work with you as an individual that wasn't maybe at the company, or what would be some things that you would tell them that you would love to help them with? And then what I'll do is I'll point to your website and things like that down below.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would help women develop greater self-awareness of where they are in their life. Are they really, have they considered, reevaluating if they have been able to achieve goals? Do they have goals? Are they really happy? Let's define what happiness feels like to you or looks like to you. Are you there? I would ask the questions about goals, passion, dreams, and what's next. Just I like I said before, I find that women sort of settle into this routine and actually don't even ask themselves the question of what's next in my life. Is there more to life? But often there is an underneath sort of rumbling or discontent that they may not even be um, admitting to themselves. So I like to dig deep into those places and ask the questions that cause them to really think about their lives, where they are, where they've been, and where do they want to go. And so
Well, I
that's a
hear
lot.
people that may have settled, who
Mhm.
want to move on to like maybe an even better version of their life, fulfilling things that maybe they've thought about, not giving themselves that permission to do.
Yes, and one lady said to me, one of her feedback was, Barbara helped me to realize that I was so much more than I ever thought I was.
Mm.
I know. And it's like, this is what I want to say. Women at our age, we have the wisdom, we have the experience. Do you have a desire to give back? Do you have a desire to, contribute into somebody else's life? Because that's always a possibility too. And it doesn't have to be a big, grandiose thing. I mean, this is why I decided to do coaching, is because my husband had me on TV for years. I hated it because it was this huge audience and I'm looking into this camera lens, and I am a one-on-one person. I that's where I thrive. I think that's where my quote unquote superpower is, kind of a coin a term today that's popular, but yeah, because I like to see the person's face and to see what's happening in their heart when I'm talking to them. And so all of those things are very important to me, and I love doing it.
Thank you, Barbara. I'm smiling deep within because I know so many people want to be in front of the big audience. And I think about that word intimacy, and you really model that. And I've witnessed that in the coaching room, as you were growing. And I know that you're bringing nothing short of magic to your clients. So thank you for being you.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
welcome. Thank you, Farosha. That was beautiful. I appreciate it.
Yeah. And thank you for joining me today. I can't wait to share this with others. And again, you've always been an inspiration, because
Mm,
I've always seen you as, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make this happen. And for you to share that wisdom and to show it, with your work internally and then with your future clients externally, it's a beautiful thing. So thank you,
mm.
Barbara.
You're welcome. Appreciate it. Thank you, Farosha.